OMP company, and the minute the thing is sold, they're shorting the stock or the bond. I mean, they make a lot of money doing that. And this latest fiasco with the dollar, where on the USDX, which is an index of 6 major currencies versus a dollar, it went from having gone down to 74. It went back up to 89. Now, what did that happen? Well, what they did was they were instrumental in exposing Greece. Now, everybody knew who was in Europe and in New York, and they knew Greece should have never been accepted into the Eurozone in the first place. And they had 2 sets of books. And how did they know that? They set the 2 sets of books up for them. And they lied about what they had and that they qualified. And so what they and J.P. Morgan Chase did was that they bet that the euro was going to go down, and they bought the dollar long starting last October. Well, over the last month or 6 weeks, what they've done is covered their short in the euro and sold their long position in the dollar and reaped billions of dollars in profit, and almost single-handedly destroyed the Eurozone. Now, the dollar is falling again because they're out of the market. The manipulation is over. And where's the next stop? Well, I think it's selling around 82 right now, so we're probably going to get down and test 74, and it might even break and get down to 71.18, which was the lowest low of all time.
What is that going to mean for gold?
Well, I think it's my feeling that about 14, 15 months ago, gold finally decoupled from the dollar. And that happened because there's a choice there. Do you want to be long gold or long the dollar? The only real currency in the world is gold because it doesn't owe anybody anything. And I think the realization is out there now that gold is better than the dollar. And so I think the reflection of what the dollar does is only 20% into what gold does. And when the big players like Goldman and Morgan see and know that the dollar is going to get down, they deliberately hit gold. They're the ones who are shorting gold today, the 2 of them. And I'm sure. But
every time they push it down, it just pops back up. And now, what was this London Telegraph report of this secret 380-ton, or very close to the entire gold supply for 1 year, what's mined and refined in 1 year? What was going on with that manipulation?
Well, first of all, I think it's fraudulent. I don't think the event ever happened. I think they're lying.
Well, you've always talked about that. You've always talked about that. You say that what happens there is that they just say it on paper to drive down the price.
Exactly. And it is possible that they've done that, but there's no reason to do it. And first they said a commercial bank was involved, and they don't do business with commercial banks, only central banks. Now, of course, the question arises, the swapper, was it a central bank or a consortium of central banks, or did a consortium exist at all? You see, they won't tell you these things. And because they won't tell you these things, you have to assume that they're lying. There's no other way to go on it. It's just like the CPI and the PPI and the employment figures. They're lies. And so you got to assume that everything else is.
And let's expand.
The BIS is no better.
Bob, I want you to continue on that line, but I want to expand on that in layman terms for people. If banks can sell each other 380 tons of gold secretly, but the higher level areas of the market know what's going on and it's reflected, by selling it at a lower price and it's only on paper, the gold never moves, and that's what GATA and the congressional hearings have all reported on. That's how they manipulate it, because it's a paper transaction that they'll just quietly swap back later. But specifically dealing with secrecy, we have all these congressmen and Senate members saying, we want to know where these trillions went, and the Goldman Sachs people and the head of the Federal Reserve, the Treasury head, they'll never say where it goes. That's an example of this out in the open, incredibly insane secrecy. And now, Ron Paul concurs with me, so does Napolitano reading the bill. I want to get your take on it. But even the Washington Post admits this new bill they've passed, the financial reform, gives the Federal Reserve massive control over the economy and even less oversight by Congress. In the words of the Washington Post, almost total autonomy. So speak to that.
Well, they're absolutely right. And we've discussed this a long time ago and multiple times on the program. And they're going to take over the SEC, the CFTC, which is Commodity Futures Trading Corporation, the FDIC, and a new agency, which is for consumer protection. And they're going to have an oversight board, which they appoint the people. It's just like me saying, well, we're going to have a board to oversee talk radio programs, and Alex is going to read it and lead the panel. It's just silly, and it's obfuscation. It's lack of transparency. They don't want you to know what they're doing, because if the public finds out what they're doing, they'll say, well, how can we allow that? And they'll try to stop it. We should be going the other way with the privately owned Federal Reserve. We should be getting rid of it, and of course that's what Ron Paul...
Exactly. Instead of auditing it, instead of abolishing it, they're like, here, total control over everything in the economy, including individuals' debit cards. That's in the bill. And they agreed not even look at curbing derivatives until 2022.
That's right, which leaves them a long time to do their mischief, and they'll come up with something different at that time, if in fact we've got a government at that time. And these kind of things are what is driving people out of the country. The U.S. government, day before yesterday, imposed a $450 charge on people who want to give up their citizenship. Now, they hadn't had a fee before, but obviously they have a lot of people who are requesting that, and I don't recommend people do that out of hand. And if one were to want to do that, you'd have to have a citizenship in another country before you do that, because you'd never be able to go anywhere because you wouldn't have a passport. So it's something to think about. But this is a reflection of that. And, you know, I get letters all the time. What state do I go to? What country do I go to? How do I get away from this monstrosity? And quite frankly, you don't. You got to fight them.
Well, that's right.
Why we're here today.
That's right. Welcome to the New World Order. They admit at the OECD and the Ex-Im Bank and the IMF, the World Bank, world government with private Madoff-type people running everything. Bernie Madoff, with this legislation passing, is now literally in control of your job, your bank account, your debit card, everything. You think you've been hurt so far? They're going to rape us and rape us and rape us and rape us.
Remain in your houses. The President of the United States has declared martial law under Executive Order 11,004.
Will they do it? Will they pull the trigger this time? We all pray they stand down, but an engineered crisis seems more likely with each passing day. Think it can't happen here? Executive Order 10990 locks down all highways. Executive Order 10995 seizes control of all media outlets. Executive Order 10998 controls all farms and food supplies. All these executive orders are now cocked, loaded, and waiting for the right crisis. So if you're worried about the possibility of martial law here in America or have questions about how to survive it, go to martiallawsurvival.com. That's martiallawsurvival.com. Go to martiallawsurvival.com right now.
You must remain in your houses until your bracelets are scanned.
The Fall of America and the Western World is an all-new 10-hour documentary and survival guide rolled into one. In this film, you will see the reasons why our government is failing and what you can do to prepare. Featuring Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Joseph Farah, David Icke, Naomi Wolf, G. Edward Griffin, Doug McIntyre, Mark Crispin Miller, Mickey Z, Doug Casey, David McElvaney, and myself, Alex Jones. Protect yourself and get the tools you need to protect your family from these difficult times. The Fall of America and the Western World at www.thefallofamerica.net or click on the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Again, that website's www.thefallofamerica.net or call 800-655-1577. Prepare yourself and the ones you love today. fallofamerica.net.
Hi, I'm Mark Craighead, founder of Crossbreed Holsters. I designed our top-selling holster, the Super Tuck Deluxe, to solve the problems of being poked, pinched, and gouged while carrying concealed. The Super Tuck Deluxe is the most comfortable, most concealable holster on the market today. We offer a 2-week free trial and a lifetime warranty.
Visit us at crossbreedholsters.com. Don't forget, crossbreedholsters.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold is outperforming